Everyone wants to be in a park. Parks with art just add to the levels of experience. This piece reframes the park.
It enlivens the experience of being in the park. This will be not only important to the art community, it'll be important to the city, and throughout the country, this is a big deal.
It's an absolutely profound project. It's accessible to everyone.
Someone from the city, I believe, approached my father, who had built Southland Center. The idea came about to maybe do a park there. And then the National Endowment for the Arts chose Robert Irwin, the National Endowment. My father would never have chosen Robert Irwin. He'd never heard of Robert Irwin. In fact, this was Robert Irwin's first really major commission. There were 3 parcels of land that were not connected, and he came up with a solution that I thought was kind of amazing. He came up with this slice that left the park kind of as an undulating hill, but sliced through that connected the 3 from above, and it became one through this sliced piece.
I would say most people probably almost didn't see it when they're flashing by in a car. Why it was a kind of portal. Very simple, straightforward, the idea that there's a moment of entering.
The park itself really existed in that form for 40 years. When we were doing work in the early 2000s about downtown generally, we looked up and the streets were coming out. And the first thing we concluded is stop everything. Don't do this yet.
We can't be the city that demolishes a Bob Irwin.
Robert Irwin is one of the most significant, important, and influential artists of the last half-century, period. He has no set approach. He goes into a situation and considers sometimes very subtle adjustments. Our perception of that space can be heightened or even transformed. Not only is our sense of that space altered, but our sense of ourselves as a perceiving agent is influenced and altered.
So when all of this happened in the master plan update, and there was this new opportunity for Carpenter Park, and this changed the road network that allowed all these possibilities, Bob Irwin's response was,
fine, tear it down. And then they came back to me and said that there'd been a little kerfuffle.
The Parks Department said, oh my goodness, we have this opportunity. And it was when we were doing the master plan update. And so it was time to completely relook at the possibilities there.
And they wanted to know if I could modify it, which I did.
So he sent me this box. It says, it's a Chanel No. 5 box, perfume box, clearly. But written on it in red ink, it says, plus repo. I wasn't sure exactly what that meant, but when I opened it and took the contents out, he meant I'm repositioning the piece on the site, and I'm repositioning the piece within the history of my own work. And in this box were these beautiful drawings where he repositioned. So there's the mound, there's Portal Slice, and he sent the plan drawing where he turned Portal Slice perpendicular. So instead of running essentially north-south, he made it run east-west. I had explained to him that the city was growing eastward. So not only did he turn it, he also came up with the idea of changing parts of it. So he added these filigree pieces, which you can see here. He wanted to do 2 pieces like that.
someone addressed Bob Irwin and said, "So, could you give us an idea of what you have in mind, and would you like to see it?" And he unrolled this thing. He had hand-drawn the filigree pattern. It was breathtaking.
Yeah, I haven't been able to scale this. Got a little punch to it.
So is this the opening between them? Yeah. Exactly.
At one point it breaks, curves slightly this way and curves slightly that way, so that one can pass through it. And then the two surfaces are now filigreed to give them a much more kind of rich or organic look. Filigree is a leaf pattern, basically, based on the trees that are there.
We didn't know for sure exactly how the piece was made because, of course, it looks like it just slices through, like it was one long rectangular piece of corten steel that dirt had been piled against. So we found the original drawings, and in fact, no, the steel walls are cut to the landform.
The new configuration actually is to make the park more active. The piece is so simple, went so easy. The big surprise is that people liked it without even knowing what it was.
I think that one of the great things about being a perceptual artist, as he is that it can change.
It's held up well here.
And he's not rigid in that way.
This stuff's still really straight.
It's a new challenge. How much fun to greet a new challenge and yet work with the old. I mean, his mind and his way of working is perfect for that sort of thing.
This piece reframes the park. It's more like a piece of the whole than it is a piece within the whole.
You'll interact with it in a whole range of ways, which is, in the case of a site-specific sculpture in this kind of an urban neighborhood park, a terrific experience.
For the citizens of Dallas to be able to experience this work without making any particular effort, just as a part of their daily life, I think that's a great gift.